Hare Krishna, Namaste, Chapter 18, which is entitled as Sannyasa Yoga. Sloka 46. Yataḥ pravṛttir bhūtānāṁ, yena sarvam idaṁ tatam, sva-karmaṇā tam abhyarcya, siddhiṁ vindati mānavaḥ. We are in the section where Krishna is explaining about the system that he created for spiritual progress. But at the same time, it is also true that if one does not fall into this varna ashrama, still one can spiritually progress. That happens through the mercy of Vaishnavas. It is well proven that we can see, we can witness now that there are Vaishnavas all over the world, not just in India and not just those who are born as Indians. There are Americans, European, Russian, African, Chinese, Australian. Pretty much the Krishna consciousness movement founded by Srila Prabhupada has spread all over the world to make people a Vaishnava irrespective of their birth class, and especially those who are born as Indians has a higher responsibility to distribute this knowledge to anyone and everyone, so we can be an insignificant instrument in service of Krishna to connect the living entities to Krishna's lotus feet. In the previous sloka, we learned that when a person engages in duties that is ordained for his class, varna, achieves the supreme reward, the reward of dhyana nishta, which is a stage to start bhakti yoga. Now the question is, by following the varnashrama system, one has to carefully follow the Shastra and the duties and worship that mentioned in the Shastra. In the Shastra, for the Varnashrama, there are many Devata worship are being mentioned. If one follows Varnashrama system, that means one has to worship the Devatas. If they have to worship the Devatas are limited in what they can give. They cannot give moksha. It is only Krishna who can give moksha. Then, by following Varnashrama system, how can one attain liberation? That is the question. The answer is given in this 46th sloka. Short answer is that Krishna is the indweller, Paramatma, within all the living entities. From him everything comes, originates, which includes those Devatas, Indra, Varuna, Chandra, Yama, etc. And these Devatas cannot function freely, independently by themselves. The Supreme Lord as Antaratma is also present within these Devatas. Therefore, the worship that mentioned in the scripture to these Devatas are actually connects to Krishna, who's Antaratma within these Devatas. All the worship is meant for Krishna. He is the one who is worshipped through various sacrifices and austerity. He is the supreme well-wisher, enjoyer. And this is what Krishna has already mentioned in the 5th chapter, 29th sloka. bhūtānāṁ yajña tapasam sarva-loka maheshwaram sukridam sarva-bhūtānāṁ ñātvā mam shantim ruchyati. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. With that introduction, now let's understand the meaning of the sloka. Bhūtānāṁ, of all living entities. Pravṛttihi, all activities like creation, maintenance, destruction, yataḥ, or under whose control, idaṁ sarvam, all this world, yena, by whom, tatam, is pervaded, tam, that refers to Vasudeva, that is Krishna, sva-karmaṇā, through the duties stipulated for him, abhyarcya, by worshipping well, mānavaḥ, man, siddhiṁ vindati, attains the result. Translation: by worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all-pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. Bhūtānāṁ pravṛttir. Here bhūta refers to both sentient and non-sentient entities, not just the sentient living entities. It includes all, everything. Hence the associated term pravṛtti should best be taken as referring to all the activities like creation, maintenance, destruction. If we only take bhūtānāṁ as living entities, then it is like saying the Lord is only cause of creation, maintenance and destruction of living entities. He is not the cause of other objects that's around the world. But we know from the Shastra that He is the creator, maintainer and destroyer of this world. Yena sarvam idaṁ tatam. Through this statement, it is explained that everything has its cause in Krishna. He has pervaded himself in everything as the internal controller. Here is where a very important subject that needs to be understood. Yes, varnashrama that prescribed by Krishna leads one to moksha, but on one condition. That is, even if properly performed in what has been prescribed for a varnashrama system by worshipping Indra, Surya, etc., one would fulfill his duties. But whether that person attains liberation or not is based on that one condition. That is, he who is performing the varnashrama duties as prescribed in the scripture with the conviction that it is a way of worshipping Krishna. It is Krishna who is present as Antaratma within these devatas, who is actually bestowing the mercy, the results. If this understanding is not there, if this conviction is not there, even though one may follow the varnashrama system perfectly, that will not lead them to moksha. That varnashrama which executed perfectly, devoid of this knowledge, will not be a means for moksha. It will not be a upaya. Now let's one more time understand the translation of this sloka. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all-pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. Now let's connect the previous sloka. In the previous sloka, Krishna said, by following the varnashrama dharma, one gets moksha. Over here, he says, by worshipping him, one gets moksha. But where is the answer for our question? Our question was, by following varnashrama dharma prescribed in the scripture, one is forced to perform worship to certain devatas. The devatas will not be able to give mukti. Whereas in the sloka, there doesn't seem to be an answer for this question. Rather, Krishna simply says that He is the source of all beings. He is the one who is pervaded everywhere. Yataḥ pravṛttir bhūtānāṁ yena sarvam idaṁ tatam. Now let's understand the inner meaning of this sloka. Everything gets created from Krishna. That's what Krishna says. Everything gets created from me. Everything is part and parcel of me. That means to whomever you perform your worship, that worship actually belongs to me. It comes to me. Why? Because I am present within them as antaratma, as super soul. It's like a son who loves his father, massages father's feet, is actually pleasing the father, the atma of the father. The son does not say, I only love father's feet, nose, hands. Whatever that he is trying to do as a service to his father's body, it actually goes to the atma. It is the atma who is the ultimate beneficiary. Likewise, when Krishna says here, everything gets created from me, everything is part and parcel of me, that means to whomever you offer your worship, in actuality, I am the one who manages them, controls them, and also destroys them. So the worship that you do for that particular devata does not stop with that devata. It reaches me, who is present as Paramatma within that particular devata. That's the first reason. The second reason is, when you do your worship by reciting a particular devata's name, for example, Indra or Surya, that Shabda, Indra, Surya, itself indicates me. That name belongs to me. Therefore, you are worshipping me by reciting those names. For these two reasons. Number one, I am antaratma within the devatas, and the names mentioned for the devatas which is being chanted also refers me. Therefore, I give the end result for those who follow the varnashrama system. For example, Indra means one who has wealth. Of course, the wealthiest person is Krishna than Indra. Therefore, the name Indra very well suits for Krishna. Another example is Surya. Surya means one who dries things up. Krishna is the one who dries our material existence. Therefore, Krishna name is Surya. Agni means one who takes us on the progressive path. Krishna is the one who takes us in the progressive path towards him. Therefore, his name is Agni. One who's been hearing this Bhagavad Gita regularly would know that any object has the Lord within it. Not just the living entities, also the matters. Therefore, an object like book, the name book is that which has a collections of paper bound together. So the name book does not just stop with the book. It goes beyond the book to the Paramatma which sustains that book. To make it easy, I am an Atma residing in this body. The name is given to this body, my body, but the name does not stay with the body. It reaches to the Atma which resides within the body. That is why I am responding when someone calls my name. Otherwise, body itself does not have intelligence. It is achit, non-sentient. It will not be able to respond to the calls. Because Atma is present within the body, the name which called out to the body reaches the Atma, and the Atma responds to the call using the body. So the point is, the name that we used to identify an object, whether it is a living or non-living, that refers to the Paramatma who is present within that object. When we say pillar, that also refers to Paramatma within the pillar. When we say computer, that also refers to Paramatma within the computer. Therefore, the point is, there is nothing wrong to do the Varnashrama Dharma by following the procedures given in the scripture to worship Indra, Varuna, Surya, Vayu, Agni, etc. Because those names in reality refers to Paramatma within those devatas. Of course, those who are following Varnashrama system must have this knowledge. Without this knowledge, if they follow the Varnashrama system, it is not going to get them the ultimate result. It is also worth mentioning what we studied in the 10th chapter, Samanadikaranam, where Krishna several times in that chapter says that I am so and so. Adityanam aham Vishnuhu Jyotisam Ravi Amsuman Marichir Marutam Asmi Nakshatranam aham Sashi Vedanam Sama Vedosmi Devanam Asmi Vasavaha Indriyanam Manaschasmi Bhūtānāṁ Asmi Chetana Rudranam Shankaraschasmi Vittesho Yaksha Rakshasam Vasunam Pavakaschasmi Meru Shikrinam aham Purodasam cha Mukyam mam Vitti Partha Brahaspatim Senaninam aham Skanda Sarasam Asmi Saharaha. He says over there, I am Aditya, I am the radiant sun, I am Marichi, I am the moon, I am Samaveda, I am Indra, I am the mind, I am the living force, I am Rudra, I am Kuvera, I am Agni, I am Meru, the mountain, I am Brihaspati, I am Kartikeya. So for those who have carefully heard and understood chapter 10, what we are discussing here should not be foreign. To summarize this part of the sloka, Krishna says one should follow the Varnashrama system, and there is no wrong in worshipping the devatas, provided they have the clear understanding that in actuality the worship belongs to the Paramatma within this devata. But I am doing this because it has been ordained to me for my Varna by the scriptures. And also we saw that the name Indra, Varuna, various demigods is actually refers to Krishna himself, who resides within that devatas. Now an important question arises from this sloka. Krishna says that by worshipping that Lord, or in other words, by worshipping Him with the understanding that He is the origin, the maintainer, etc., one attains the result. Why here it is said that by worshipping Him, rather telling by worshipping me? Why Krishna has to say by worshipping Him as a third person? Let's find the answer in our next session. Namaste. Hare Krishna.